Hey traders, Adam here from Bullogic talking about a trade we took yesterday in Zynga, ZNGA. Most people know these guys as the maker of online video games such as Farmville and uh, I think that's it. Which is probably why they've been doing so bad. As you see, they've been in a nice decline. On Friday, they actually announced that they're going to have to cut the 2012 guidance. And so they were going to gap down about 20% Friday morning. And when the stock gaps down like this, especially a stock that's watched a lot like Zynga, these stocks are always in the news and always being watched by traders and momentum traders. I like to make sure I keep these on watch. Maybe we'll find a base and a breakdown during the intraday charts, or maybe we're going to see it put in a bottom and then actually bounce up higher, which is what we saw in Zynga. And I'll show you on the 2-minute chart. I like to watch the 2-minute chart, especially early in the morning, because you just need the extra candles to try to see a pattern form. So I like to watch the 2 minutes. I'm not a big fan of the 1 minutes because it's a little too noisy for my liking. But 2 minutes good for the morning, and then you can change out to 5 minutes during the afternoon when you have a lot more candles to work with. So one thing that happened in Zynga is it started to sell off right in the morning, as you can expect. They released, cutting their guidance, going to have to lay off some people. It's going to start to sell off. So it did, and it's down like 20 odd percent, something like that. So what happens is it starts forming a bottom here in that 221 level. And as you see, it hit it, bounced, and hit it, bounced, and it came back down, hit it again, it bounced. So I'm noticing that this would be a good place to put a stop. I can stick my stop at 221. I could buy in, see if it'll bounce, and see if I can't get a ride up because the gap is like 60 cents. So if I could get a small risk, I have a potential of making 60 cents. Now I know it probably won't fill the gap in one day, but I've seen worse things happen. But you never know. Either way, I have a good potential for reward, even if I wanted to swing it over a couple days. The space is there for the price to run up in. So I had a good potential here. Now all I need to do was find a place to buy in. I needed a place to buy in. I'm not just going to buy in a stock just because it looks good or I have a gut feeling that it's going to run up. I still need my setups. I still need to find a setup. Even if I have a good feeling something's going to run up or the risk reward is incredible, like a 10 to 1, I'm not just going to hit the buy button. I still need to see the setup happen to confirm this. So I always like to buy the setups. I just don't buy randomly. So what I started noticing here was a nice resistance forming at the 225 level. As you see, it tapped here, tapped here, tapped here, and then tapped over here. So that was a good, strong resistance, at least in this short-term movement that we've had so far, and gives me a good place to buy in. So I set my order in at 226. I set my buy stop in at 226. It triggered on this candle right here. As you see, it poked through early in the morning, right after 10 a.m. I set my stop in at 221 right here at the bottom. That way, I'm risking 5 cents with the potential to make 60 cents. You can't beat a risk reward like that. I don't even know what it is, but it's great. And so the stock started muddling around. This wasn't a very big mover during the day. It just kind of muddled around, went sideways, popped up a little bit, came back down a little bit, and then finally it came back down enough to test our buy-in. It came back down at 225. And it did hold. And when it held, I knew the stock had potential to run because it's going to hold the buy-in. That means it's retesting our buy-in area. It confirms the breakout. When it retests and it doesn't break through, it's confirming the breakout. So right then I knew that, yeah, this stock will probably run. I probably should have added, another half position of shares. I already had a full position on. I probably should have added another half position just to play the bounce, but I didn't. I still have my full position. And so the stock starts to bounce, and I immediately move my stop up to that 225 level right here under this under this low. Right now it's a higher low. As you can see, the low is put in here at 221. Now we have a low in here at 225. They call that a higher low. That's a good sign of an uptrend. So I move my stop up to that 225 level. This Zynga starts to bounce and it runs all the way into 236. I don't take my profits just because I move my stop up. That way I at least know that I'm going to get out flat, all right? And so if I didn't make any money, at least I get out flat, and I was okay with that. I could just continue to hold this stock all day, and it just continues to churn. It never violates our higher low. See, it creates another low here at 230, and when we were trading here at 233 or 235, I moved my stop up to 230. I just kept trailing that stop up under those higher lows. Higher lows is a sign of an uptrend. So I want to continue to stay in the stock as long as it keeps the uptrend. It's not going to violate the uptrend. I don't want to sell it. So it starts, it starts picking up some momentum, starts running more, and again, bases out and then pops up a little bit more. And when it hit 240, I decided to go ahead and move my stop up to that 234. Again, another higher low, a good place to put in or move my stop. I'm now securing profits. I still have my full position on, and I'm just waiting for it to, run up some more or, continue on with its trend. So it does, and towards the end of the day, I decided I really didn't want to hold this over the weekend just because they did release bad guidance. Who knows if they're going to come out with something, during the weekend, a little bit hurtful to their company. So I went ahead and I actually took my profits at 246 here in this first little candle right here where it spiked. I figured it had a really good run up here, a lot of up candles into the close. I'm just going to go ahead, take my full profits, 246. It was easy money. I made a good percentage. It was like 8.8% just off the stock. I wrote it all day from the bottom. It was an established uptrend. It was a nice established uptrend. As you can tell, it never violated its lows. It just kept building higher lows, which is something we like to see. It kept building higher highs. You see, here's one high, then here, then up here, and then finally up here in the 250 range. So I missed the top by a little bit, but I still got it at 246. I made a nice gain on this. It was about 2% of my portfolio, 8% return on the trade alone. So definitely a good trade. Definitely keep these stocks on watch. These high momentum stocks, you want to keep them on watch during the day. It could have been setting up for a short. It could have bounced here off the support and came back down and hit the support again. And then we would have looked at it for a short. This one didn't do that. It actually bounced off that support where we kept our stop, and it just moved up higher, and we just kept trailing our stop. I'm going to give myself an A- on this one just because I probably could have loaded up on a couple more shares when we retested this breakout area, and I probably could have just halved out shares and taken it overnight just to see if we do get a gap up in the morning, because we do have a big gap to fill up here. We have another 40 cents or 30 cents to go. So definitely a lot of room for more potential, but I'm happy with my gains, and it was a Friday, so I'm definitely happy with my gains. So hopefully everybody gets an idea of how to play these intraday setups. Make sure you keep them on your watch. Make sure you're watching them. I love those 2-minute charts, and just wait for the setup to happen and then take it. All right, everyone, good luck.